Okay, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome all RoboCuppers around the world to join these sections. In these sections, we'll be talking about at-home league, especially for the SPL or domestic standard platform league. And today we have Dr. Jumels as our speakers. Okay, I think we can wait 1 or 2 minutes because someone maybe will join our sections, and I would like to show them all the information that you can get. Right now, I want to show you just like an introduction slide before I hand the stage to Dr. Jumel. Okay. I would like to welcome you again. And in these sections, we will be talking about RoboCup at home, the SPL league. And for others informations that involve with this league, you can find it at the website https://at-home.robocup.org. And today we have assistant professors, Dr. Fabrice Jumels from CPE Lyon Tech in France. Currently, he is the organizing committees in RoboCup at Home League, and it's our honors to have you here as our speakers. And I would like to open these sections with the video that explain the ideas or the spirit of this league. Okay, I will start now.
RoboCup at home. In RoboCup at home, highly intelligent interactive robots navigate new complex environments in tasks ranging from registering itself for the competition, performing service duties such as cleaning or butlering for previously unknown persons, to grocery shopping in real-world locations.
At Home started spontaneously by these researchers that wanted to start robots in the home environment, and especially not knowing what the home would look like.
RoboCup at Home is application-orientedly. We could call it RoboCup for all people, but it doesn't really sound that good, so we call it RoboCup at Home. It's about the tasks you do in a domestic environment.
Compared with RoboCup Soccer's abstracted environments, but highly sophisticated gameplay, RoboCup at Home takes on an inverted philosophy.
So we took the concept of what they do in soccer and we turned it around. In soccer, the idea was to have a complex task in a simplified environment. But we said, okay, but every time you increase the complexity of the environment, for example, you take an orange ball, you make it black and white, then you have to adapt your vision algorithms to recognize a black and white ball. So what do you see? Only changing the color of the ball, suddenly the performance drops because the robots cannot recognize the ball. So you have this performance drops over and over again with the increasing complexity of the environment. So we said we have to take simple tasks in a complex environment instead of complex tasks in a simple environment. So we started with simple tasks like follow me.
We are now getting to the first spot where a person is passing between the walker and the robot, and the robot should not be distracted by that, so that was nice. First stage is more kind of basic tasks of the robot, also in areas where they could have a pre-recorded map or something to navigate there.
And for example, we have tasks where the robot has to assist in cleaning or in cooking. There's a lot of difficulties involved. For example, the robot has to know where it is. The robot has to not only detect people, but recognize people. It has to be able to learn new faces within seconds, and there is no human assisting the robot with calibration.
This is then also judged by internal person in the league and also by external persons from the league. So to have the view from outside, so does it make sense what you are doing in this league from a really outer perspective?
The robots have to be polite, friendly. We take great care about the appearance of the robots. The robots have to look good. So we actually have a rule that says no duct tape.
When you come to RoboCup, the challenge is you are going to be given a new house built there in the field of play, and you are going to have to interact with humans and manipulate objects and move, and you have to learn the maps, and you have to be able to handle any home.
RoboCup at home is about the entire world area where people are in their daily lives. So we started in an apartment. I'm hoping to have like a little garden in a few years. And last year, we started to go shopping with our robots.
My name is Frederick. I'm from Team Toby from Germany, and we are currently preparing for the shopping mall task. So we don't know actually where we're going, somewhere in Istanbul most probably.
The teams, they only were told the night before which shop it actually was. So there was no time to make a map. They could not measure anything with measuring devices. The robots just had to work.
This is now a very special task in the at-home league named Shopping Mall, which is happening so really in the wild world.
Actually going shopping is the task, which is a nice task. So the robot first of all has to build up a map because the environment is unknown. One guide will introduce several objects to the robot, so he will be saying something like, yeah, this is the milk, or this is the Pringles, or something like that.
Memorize the Pepsi.
Can you confirm that? Shall I memorize the Pepsi?
Yes.
With pleasure.
The robot has to remember the position of the objects. At the checkout, the referee will say, yeah, I want to buy like 3 objects.
Fetch me the Pepsi.
Okay.
We don't really know which objects, but some of the objects that are in an official list. And then the robot has to autonomously go to the positions, find the objects, grasp the objects from the shelf and bring them back to the checkout.
It's not in the rules that we need to keep the space really free. It's even allowed that some people might walk by in the shop.
That happened last year actually to one of the teams, because there was a little kid that was quite fascinated by the robot, and even more fascinated by the red button on the robot, which was the emergency stop. All the other teams agreed that this is kind of an unusual situation, so they got a restart.
Shops are really colorful places, and the robot easily gets distracted from the right object. So one really challenge is to find and localize the objects that needs to be grasped, and then exactly the grasping is also a task that will not be successful with many teams.
We measure using statistics every year which robot brain components are working well and which ones are working not so well. And the ones that are working not so well, we give them more points next year.
The perpetually evolving rules and challenges of RoboCup at home spur innovation and important research questions for robotics in general.
In the beginning, it was difficult to convey the message to people that building applications is actually doing science, because they said, well, you're just engineering. We found that we have all sorts of troubles and there's no research to guide us. So by building the applications, we are actually figuring out what we have to research.
Research is frequently going on only in labs and misses many points that you need to consider for your robots. Because labs are more clean, labs are also kind of more artificial, so you cannot think of all the things that might happen to a robot that is acting in a real environment.
The goal, I think, in the beginning of RoboCup was to get the robots out of the laboratory. Started with soccer, then with humanoids, with rescue. And rescue is really out of the laboratory, although the environment is still controlled. And then at home, yeah, for us, it was more or less the logical next step, is to have an even less structured environment.
It was a very, how do you say, a beautiful kind of like also challenge. Nobody was doing this before. And the RoboCup at Home started, which now has more than 40 teams, and all over the world probably more than 100 teams.
Change is essential at home. So next year we're going to start with introducing a sidewalk test, but somewhere this decade, we actually want to start taking the public transport. Even if it's only one bus stop or one subway stop, we don't care. Go outside with the robots. Like we're already starting discussions about rights for robots, robots having a passport, being able to travel. In South Korea, they started in the parliament discussion about what should we do if there's an intelligent robot asking for the right to vote. You know, and they're discussing this, and it might sound silly, but who knows, in 10 or 20 years we have those robots.
This kind of future perspective, robots might operate around you in your own apartments and some kind of public spaces. This is a very important tendency and very important for also the research questions that we have.
So the league is about people and robots doing something in a domestic environment. What I really like about this league is the idea that we're really doing this to help people. I actually am convinced that having more robots in society will actually make society more humane.
Okay, that is the ideas of the at-home league. Then we will focus more on our talk today about the domestic standard platform. Because of this is a standard platform, and the standard platform that we use in this sub-league is from Toyota. It's called Human Support Robot, or HSR. This is the pictures of HSR robot. And before I hand the stage to Dr. Jumel, I would like to show you one last videos, the HSR robot in actions in RoboCup 2019 in Sydney.
Human, could you open the dishwasher, please? I am going to place the object into the dishwasher. I align the dishwasher. Kitchen table.
Okay, now it's time for the rule technical talk and also question and answers. Okay, right now I would like to hand the stage to Dr. Jumel. Welcome, Dr. Jumel, to the talk.
Thanks. Thanks for the introduction, Nathan.
Thank you.
So I will start to share my screen. Okay. So in the introduction, in the video that was used for the introduction, we have seen the spirit of the RoboCup at home. So we want to have some robots which are able to give some services inside home. And in the case of the RoboCup at home, we consider 3 leagues in real, and we have now a new league which is in simulation, and this league is specially linked with the DSPL because the robot inside the simulator is a HSR. So it's possible to change it, but it's more simple to use the HSR inside the simulator. So we have 3 leagues, but currently the rules are the same. There is just few minor changes between the different leagues. But this presentation will be more focused on domestic standard platform. So we just have seen the video of introduction where we have seen the spirit. Now we will have more details about how are the competition. So what is important in the RoboCup at home is that we want robots which are able to make complete scenario. It means that inside the home, we want robots that first are able to communicate, to interact with humans, especially in order to get orders. And next, we want the robot to navigate inside the environment. We want robots able to recognize objects or to recognize people. And we want to the robot able to manipulate objects. So with these different skills or abilities of the robots, we will have the possibility to have scenario like, hey, robot, could you go to the kitchen and take a Coke for me? And the robot have to understand the order and to find a way to deliver a drink. So globally, we speak about integration, behavior integration. So each part of the skill seems to be something usual for a robot, for example, navigation or grasping or object recognition. But the deal with RoboCup at home is that it's not so simple to combine all the skills inside a scenario with a lot of unknown parts. For example, inside the house, a lot of things could happen. For example, some object could be on the floor. People could have some difficulty to talk with the robots. Light could change a lot during scenarios or during the days. So we have a lot of problems we need to deal. And the goal of the RoboCup at home is to be able to make robots that will work in good condition when it's needed. In order to participate, so as I said, we have 3 leagues and simulation 1. So for the standard platform league, we have this one, the domestic with the HSR Toyota robot. So you need a robot. It's possible to rent it directly during the competition, but clearly, if you don't have practice previously with the robot, it's not possible to start the competition and discover the robot this day. So in the case of the other standard platform, we have a people robot from SoftBank Robotics. And in the case of the open robot, we could use open platform robot. We could use all material, all hardware we want. So you just need to have a robot, the one you want. Now, we had in the introduction a presentation of the robot. So the Toyota HSR is a very interesting robot. So there is some robot equivalent at this time for other farm. For example, we can speak about the Tiago, or we can speak about the Fetch. But clearly, the HSR is considered as a good solution if we can see some limitation. For example, the capacity to move objects is low, but not so low. And robot is not able to manipulate objects that are too high. But globally, it's a very interesting robot. In the case of the robot, it has been decided that you can add a laptop on the robot. So there is a special place which has been designed, and you have the opportunity to add the laptop you want in order that it's able to be in the dedicated slot. So with this computer, you have enough computer power in order to make complete scenario. In the case of the other standard platform, which is a people robot, we don't have this opportunity at this time. So it's clearly more tricky to make usual code with people. With the HSR and the use of an external laptop, but on the robot, we clearly had a very powerful solution. So this is about the robot. Just to speak about price, an HSR robot is something like 70,000 euros, but it's more logical to consider when you have such robots that you need to be able to pay something like 20,000 euro a year in order to have the guarantee, in order to pay if there is some problem on the hardware. So globally, if you want to have such robots, you need to have a budget between 10 and 20,000 euro by year. But there is a lot of way to find some grant, and Toyota, if you are really active in the open source community, they can really help about manage the price. So now we will speak more in detail about the competition itself. So when we speak about the RoboCup, in fact, the RoboCup is the final part of a more global process. So normally teams involved in RoboCup are involved too on some local regional RoboCup or equivalent. So they have the opportunity to practice and to work with the robot in equivalent competition. Sometimes the regional one are simpler, but the spirit is always the same with the discovery of a new arena, and that you have to score inside the arena. So during the RoboCup, we had a number of qualified teams. For example, in the case of the DSPL, generally all the slots are used. So we speak about 12 teams inside the league. There is generally more teams who want to participate in the league. During the competition, they will have to discover the arena, and they will have to be able to score during some tests. And I will give more detail about the tests themselves. There is some virtual plays that are really important for the RoboCup at home. The first one is the way we can find the rulebook, so where all the rules, all the scoring system is described. I will speak about next. And we have a very interesting Telegram group. So there is a link here, but it's easy to find. So all the team are present inside this group, and it's a way all the year we can speak about different problematic, and during the competition it's really useful. And we have some GitHub. So the rulebook itself is managed inside the GitHub, but we had a lot of information on GitHub, and I will show you one which is really important during the competition. So I will go to the rules now. So here we have the rulebook. So the rulebook is something like a 70-page document. It's not so long, but each part are really important. So we take a lot of time inside the rulebook. We read it a lot. But it's not enough to get how things will happen. So Generally, you need to be in the audience of a previous RoboCup in order to realize what means really the rulebook. Because if you just read it, it's hard to imagine. Now with all the video we can find on YouTube, it could help. But what is really hard to get is that when it's your time, you just have a 5-minute slot to make a test. And in your lab, generally, for example, you practice and you succeed to make a test and to have score, but sometimes you have to make a specific preparation of half an hour or more, perhaps 2, 3, 4 hours. And when you were really ready and you restart perhaps 10 times, you succeed. In the RoboCup, you are in a situation when it's your time, you just have something like 20 seconds to be ready. So if when we say to the team, now it's you, if in 20 seconds your robot is not able to move in order to say, hey, I'm not freezing, you will be disqualified for your slot. Next, you will have just 5 minutes in order to score, and your slot is used. And for example, in the first part, I will speak about, you have, for example, 3 slots of 5 minutes. So you have to be ready at free time, and if you were not ready in seconds for when it was you to practice, it's over. So when you read the rule book, you don't see all the stress that it means during the real competition. So about the competition, so the competition is divided into 3 stages. I will go there yet. So previously, the stages, we have the setup day. So in RoboCup at home, an important work has to be done during the setup day for the teams, because they will discover the arena. So the details of the arena are hidden to all teams. So when they arrived, they will discover the arena. So there is, they know that there will be a bedroom, there will be some different rooms, but they have no idea of the precise setup. So it's not possible to create an equivalent setup in your lab. You will discover it during the setup day, and you just have 1 day or 2 days in order to be able to make all the mapping in the arena, in order to change your code if necessary. And a part of the arena are objects in which your robot have to be in interaction, for example, some drinks, some snacks, and you will have just few hours in order to let your algorithm use, for example, machine learning in order to learn how to manipulate and to use this object. Next, we will start with the stage 1, and in the stage 1, you will have some slots, as I said, to make your test and to be able to score. And the best team will go to stage 2, and the best teams next to stage 2 will go to finals. About the tests themselves, so we have 2 thematics inside the RoboCup at home. One is called the housekeeper, and the other one is called the party host. So in the case of the housekeeper, we will consider tests in which the robot has to clean, for example, the house, has to keep different order and to manipulate objects or a lot of things linked with the environment itself. In the case of the party host, the focus is more on the interaction with human, but a very smart interaction. Meaning, for example, one of the tests is, for example, we consider we have a party and we have to manage the guests inside the party. So first, we have to welcome a new guest. We have to be followed by the guest to go to the room of the party, and we have to find a place, an empty seat for the new guest. We have to present other people which are previously in the room, and we have to take the orders that will have the new guest. For example, if we want to have a Coke or something equivalent. So this is more focused on social interaction and people. We have some other tests, but I will not give all the details. And if we go to stage 2, we have the same type of test, party host and housekeeper, but we have more unknowns during the situation. So, for example, we can have situation in which we give order to the robot, but it's not possible to manage the order. For example, we say to the robot, go to the kitchen and find a person and follow the person, but there is no one in the kitchen. So in such situation, robots have to discover that there is no one in the kitchen, to be sure of it, and to go back to the initial operator in order to say, for example, there is no one in the kitchen. All the unknown have to be managed. And the very iconic part of the stage 2 is the restaurant. So the restaurant is a very famous test in RoboCup at home that we have from here, in which we go in a real restaurant. So despite the other case which are in the arena that we will discover in the setup days, in the case of the restaurant, all the robots, and during this specific test, the robot from all the league, so from open platform, from a domestic platform, or from a social platform, go to a real restaurant, and they have to manage a scenario which is clearly given in the rulebook, but in a complete unknown environment. They will just discover the environment when the robot is switched on, and they will have to have a part of discover of the restaurant by following an operator, which is a guy from the jury, and robot has no previous time to map anything. But the object that will have to be manipulated inside the restaurant was part of the previous setup day. So what is really unknown is the restaurant itself, the place, but not the objects. Just a word about the finals. So the teams, the best teams, the 2 best teams are qualified for the finals. They will have an open demonstration in which they could show what they could do the best with the robot. And it's important to have real demonstration. So to score, you have to show that you succeed to make a robot able to do things in real situation. And we want that you manage the more possible unknown situation. It's not a time just to show something like a video or like a script behavior. We want something with a lot of improvisation from the robot. About the tests themselves, I will go to the specific part of the rulebook about one test, for example. So we describe the test. For example, if I go to the receptionist one, we define the setup procedure. So how the people in charge to organize the test have to prepare just when the test starts. We defined what is needed in order to start. For example, in the case of the receptionist task in the party part, we need to assign name and drink to volunteers. So possible name and drink are part of the initial setup day. We need to arrange people inside the living room of the arena. And next we close the door, and competition will start with all robots with the door closed, and configuration will change for each new team in order that waiting robot will not change the code considering new information. And you have the details on how you will score. And for example, we can see that in order to score, you need to succeed. So you need to succeed to the main goal, but if you need a lot of help from humans, or if details was failed, for example, you get an order, but it's not good, but you will have no points if you were not able to help the new guest to go to the good place. So at the end, you will have your total score, depending on how you were able to welcome correctly the first guest, and to have the total open, you have to go back to the entrance and to help a second one. I say again that you just have 5 minutes for such tests. So you have to imagine that in 5 minutes, you have to be able to go from the entrance of a real house to another place and to have some interaction with human. It's clearly very hard for the best team. It's hard so it's very hard challenge. Details about the rules. When you arrived in a RoboCup, you need information that are specific to the competition. So we have a place on the GitHub for each new competition. So you are able to find the previous one. So if you have a look on the rulebook, you need to have a look too on the special GitHub of previous official competition, because you see what is given during the setup day. For example, we have the list of the names which are used, John, Paul, that change all here. We have the name of object category. We have some map in order, especially to have the name of the different objects or furniture inside the arena. And you have the details of the object that have been used. So, for example, if I go here, I will have the list of the objects that was used in Sydney, for example. Okay, it's a bit long. I will not open this file. Okay, so this is the rulebook. As I say, as a team, we have weeks inside the rule books. It's not a lot of pages, but it's clearly at the end we know each word in the rule books, and it's not enough to get points, but it's just necessary. Okay, just a word about simulator. So here you can have a look of the simulation of the Toyota HSR. So the previous competition was a virtual one because of COVID situation, and we used a simulation inside Gazebo in which we have specific simple task in order to clean up, for example, the place with the different objects. So the idea was the robot have to, one of the tests was the robot to move inside this room and to clean all the objects and to let the object in the good place or in the garbage if needed. So it's possible to find all in internet in order to launch such a simulation. It's not so simple because generally there is the use of lot of Docker file and Docker components. So you need it's something new in the robotic, but you need more and more people able to manage Docker situation. So you need strong skill inside such a Docker case in order to use such simulation. Because what is interesting in the case of the GSPL simulation is not that we have just a scenario inside Gazebo, but we have a complete way to score automatically and to manipulate randomness inside the simulation. So it's not just an arena inside Gazebo. It's a complete way to manage a scoring system. Now, just a little word about participation. So, in order to participate, in the case of DSPL, so you need to have an HSR Toyota robot. But for other, you could have your own robot. We have during here 2 call of participation. The first one is closed at this time, but we still have a second one. You have the opportunity to try to be qualified, but it's not so simple because you have to give a lot of stuff. First, you need to create a video inside you show that your robot is able to make some score in one of the tests. And you have to show that it includes different abilities as human-robot interaction, localization, recognition, and navigation. You have to provide a team description paper where you explain how work all your software architecture in the case of the standard platform. And you have to explain what are your research link with the competition. And you have to provide a website inside. You give the more detail possible about your team, your robots, your lab, and a link to your GitHub where the team have the different codes they want to share. So you don't need to share all your code, but normally if you have a good team, the goal of the league is to share code. So clearly we want the team to share the more possible code. And at the opposite, when you are a new team, if you go to the website of the different team, you could find a lot of very interesting information. So it's why we have such a rule. As I say, for people who don't know RoboCup, and I don't speak just about RoboCup at home, but RoboCup is not only a competition. It's a place to share information. It's a place where we want all the team from all the world can improve their skills. So in order to do that, we need the best team to share research, to share papers, to share algorithm, to share code when it's possible. So it's really important, and it's the spirit. When you are in the RoboCup, you speak a lot with the other team, and the talk you have and the GitHub you have from the other team give you clearly so much information that you can progress a lot next all this discussion. So it was all I want to say during the talk. Now we can go to some questions. We can see how is it inside the RoboCup. So here we can see the Toyota HSR. We can see some people from the Social League, and we have on different place open platform robot. So I hope to see you on the next competition in Thailand.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Jumel, for the informations about the SSL League. And right now it's questions and answers. So audience, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can type in Thai or in English. I can translate for you. If you cannot ask in English, it's fine. Okay. So while we wait for the audience questions, I have questions about the price of the HHR robot is quite a little bit expensive when you compare to the others robot. So basically, if we want to join the SPL League, we should have the robot at our lab first, right?
Yes. It depends when you say it's expensive. So the People robot is clearly a cheap one with something now that could be 1,000 euro or a little more. Normally at this time, the normal price of a robot which is able to perform inside a atom competition is more than 50,000 euros. So the minimal budget you need normally, expect the case of the People is this price. Of course, you can go to the RoboCup with a turtle bot. it's possible. Clearly, you will be not able to manipulate object, but with something like 2,000 or 3,000 euro, you could have a robot which are able to navigate inside the arena and to interact with human. That's the step. When you go to now, I want to manipulate objects at this time. If you want a robot which is able to manipulate an object, you go directly to 40 or 50,000 euro budget, and it's the minimum. HSR is something, as I say, between depends of details between near 60 or 70 euros. But if we compare to a Tiago, for example, this is the same case of price. If we speak about a fetch robot, it's the same too. So it's a normal price. It's more other robots which are not really in the price. At this time, if you want just an arm which is good for object manipulation, just an arm at this time could something like 30 or 40,000 euro. So it's not so expensive for such tasks, but clearly it's expensive for a lab to order such robots.
Okay, thank you. It's very clear. Any questions from audience? Let me refresh this. Maybe somebody's will ask. Currently, I don't see any question from the audience. Okay. And I have one more questions about is emergency button is installed to the HSR robot also? I don't see it.
Yes, there is one on the back of the robot. We have an emergency stop button.
Okay.
I don't know if we can see it. No, we don't see it because it's just on the back here.
Okay.
In this place.
Okay, thank you. And so right now we have about 8 or 9 minutes. Any questions from audience? Okay, right now this is the last sections about the at-home league. So I think if the different robot can perform differently, so I would like to ask for your opinions. If we would like to join the RoboCup at home first, then if we have these 3 league, which one we should join first?
We don't speak during the talk about the RoboCup at home education. So if you are really newbie inside the competition, it's good to go to RoboCup education, RoboCup at home education, in which you will try to make some tests from RoboCup using TurtleBot or People Robot. So it's for really newbie team, it's a good way. So next, the question is more to speak about budget. At this time, if you want to go to DSPL, you need a huge budget because you need to have an HSL robot. If you go to People Robots, it's not so expensive. And if you go to open platform, you could come with the robot you design. As I said, you could come with a simple robot based on TurtleBot based or equivalent. So with something like 5 to perhaps 5 to 10,000 euro, you could have a robot. So it would be not able to manipulate object, but a lot of robots are able to manipulate objects in open platform and in HSR, but it doesn't mean that they will succeed to score during the RoboCup with the manipulation of objects. So it's not well seen to come in the competition with a robot which is not able to manipulate objects, but it's not mandatory at this time. So personally, if I was really newbie, I will start with depending of my budget, with a base that I could have in my lab, next, I will try to have a solution with the arm in order to manipulate. But as I say, if you design an arm, it's 5,000 euros if you want to manipulate a 1 kilo object. So, and in order to have this, you need a robot which is something like at least 20 kilo robot. So you need motor to wheel for such. I personally, I will start with a simple robot, and next I will see with my budget.
Okay, thank you very much for your opinions about joining the at-home league. So I would like to ask you one last thing. Let me check the question first. Okay, so do you have any last words to talking about at-home league in general?
Yeah, so at-home league is a very interesting place about domestic robots in general, to see what is possible. If I can say something, is that it's really interesting to go in the audience, but you need time. You need to stay hours to get really the feeling of the leagues, because when the robot works, it seems just normal. What is really strange in the case of the RoboCup at home is that when robot perform the best, it's not very impressive for audience. So you have to be really a professional of robotic to get how it's impressive when it works. But there is a lot of reason it fails, because make it work on your lab is not so easy, but it takes perhaps 6 months for you to succeed in your lab to make one test and to have some point on it. But if you want to score during a real competition, you need something like 5 years of work. So it's a 5 engineering year of work, but it's clearly a lot of work. And it's for people from other league, for example, from industrial case, sometimes they don't get what it's so difficult to have the scenario inside the RoboCup at home. Because when we go to a factory, we can see very quick robots doing incredible stuff, but there is not unknown inside such situation. So in RoboCup at home, as it says in the introduction video, we have simple tasks in complex environments. And at this time, speak about complex environment, it's very hard, because when we start to speak of something, it seems simple. But in fact, real life and house are typical case of real life are very, very difficult environment for a robot, because all is different from a room to another, from a house to another. So it's clearly you have to make a lot of work on your behavior in order to work in a lot of situations, and it's clearly a part of algorithm which is really difficult in order to make the simple task robust to lots of situations. And in the case of robots, we include that we have to interact with humans in order to solve, to help, or human themselves could be the problem during the scenario. So it's a very important part of the RoboCup at home, and it's really unique inside the RoboCup to have so much interaction and so much unknown. So it's very interesting to go there in order to make robot for real life next.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Jumel. And I think there are no questions about the SPL League from the audience. Therefore, because of we almost end of our time slot, I would like to close these sections and thank you for all the audience and Dr. Jumel to be our speaker today. This is my honors to have you here. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much. Thank you. Okay, I think it's finished for now. Then we can move to other sections if you would like to have the other sections to join. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Jumel, and see you in RoboCup in Thailand.
Yes, sir.